Так. Ну, давайте посмотрим, что ж там за жутики были. Обзор на первый выпуск TNA. Бля, на канале AMC. Спасибо.
Last night, a new chapter in the book of TNA wrestling was written. I've given this show more chances than anybody over the years. I was almost fighting a mental battle about whether or not I should make this video. Let's face it, TNA doesn't deserve another chance. They've actually only made it this far due to being supported by the WWE, and they've barely been on telly the last year. But they're somehow in the same conversation as AEW. Who is number 2 and who is number 3? I don't know about that. Yet at the same time, I couldn't fight off my intrigue. This wasn't Destination America or Pop TV. I had actually heard of AMC. This TV deal felt like a big deal. I was sort of excited. I said I was done with TNA, but at the same time, it's kind of my thing to cover wrestling outside of the WWE.
Сколько раз он дропал TNA и не дропал в итоге? Что за хуйня? Я как будто уже раз 10-й эту хуйню слышу.
Мне кажется, у Марки Ди просто абьюзивное отношение с TNA.
Есть такое, да.
And AEW. I would quite like to add TNA Impact to my weekly viewing schedule. I desperately stayed off social media all morning because I didn't want the show being spoiled. It felt like something big was about to go down. Now admittedly, my patience would be thin for this show given my history with it, but at the same time I'm going to try and wear my positive hat and give this show a real go. It wasn't helped that in the lead up to this show it seemed like everything was going wrong for TNA, and the enthusiasm for TNA product is low. There were rumours going into this show that the WWE were throwing their weight around again and the X Division champion Leon Slater was being used for a house show instead of this show. I didn't know if that was true. And then, of course, AEW recently signed 5 TNA wrestlers, Jake Something and the Little Rascals. The roster feels paper thin at this point, and the Little Rascals were a huge part of TNA, whether you like them or not. So will they just pad this show out with a collection of NXT misfits? I don't actually watch NXT, but cool if you do. We'll have to wait and see. No spoilers, but here is a poll I put out after the show, and here is a shot of how the show has been rated on Cage Match.
Damn.
I bet that makes you excited to be watching this. Alright, it's TNA on AMC, the wrestling equivalent of a flea. We start out with a new fancy intro due to the new network. I feel like I've sat through about 10 of these at this point. Leon Slater seems to be getting a lot of focus, so it'd be kind of awkward if he isn't on this show. Oh wow, the arena looks stunning. This feels like a big deal. Look at all those rally towels. Then AJ Styles' logo lights up the screen and the crowd dump in their nappies with happiness chanting AJ Styles. Here he is then, back on a TNA show for the second time of the year. He is unable to speak for a while due to all the rude fans chanting his name. He finally says this is the house that he built, but it is now bigger than ever and on AMC. He wants the fans to keep this energy throughout the rest of the night. The new intro song is called I Am Ready For You. We cut outside to a completely empty car park. I'm not sure why it looked this strange. Elijah and his little guitar are out now. He is just returning from an injury, as he often is. He asks who will walk with him, and this brings out the Hardy Boys to walk with him. Wait, what? Some women are fight? Oh no, that's actually Mustafa Ali, and this is a match? What? A twist of fate? No, it's not over. It's Mustafa Ali and his gang of geeks taking on the Hardys and Elijah. What a strange start. The match completely breaks down straight away. Elijah back kicks one of the geeks and hits a knee strike to the other. Matt Hardy hits the twist of fate and Jeff Hardy the Swanton Bomb for the 3. It went about a minute. Then there is an appalling camera cut and this big dude is in the ring and the Hardys are laid out. This must just have been my stream. I really hope it was anyway because that looked horrendous. Some dudes in white outfits called the Righteous comes to Hardy's aids, but no, they turn on the Hardys and hit a cool move called Death Walks to Matt Hardy. They lock Jeff Hardy by his ear piercing in the corner, and he will now watch on as Matt Hardy is given a swanton bomb. They say they will be the next tag team champions. They are the new Stoner Friends. Frankie Kazarian will be putting his world title on the line in the main event against Mike Santana. Kaz says it's the biggest night in TNA history. His real-life best friend AJ Styles walks up to him. Kaz is not happy to see him. AJ glances at the world title and says thanks. They are no longer friends. I don't get it. It's not like AJ Styles was never a heel as a champion. Why does he hate Kaz? What did he do wrong to him? Did I miss something here? We get a cool video package about the history of the TNX division now. Of course, last time he was here, AJ Styles said Leon Slater was the future of this company in a passing of the torch moment. Is that Tito Ortiz's son? What a person to show. That was giving me PTSD for a minute. There are also YouTubers here. I don't know who anybody is. And empty seats. Some actors from the AMC TV show are in the front row. Candice Michelle is here? That's kind of random.
Yeah,
she has
bet.
nothing to do with TNA. Nick Nemeth interrupts this, saying they aren't as famous as he is. Nemeth tries to fight them, but he falls in his nutsack on the barrier and Bret Hart Jr. smacks him down.
Охуенно.
Now we have highlights of how last month Santino's
Охуенно.
daughter kicked him in the nutsack and turned heel. She broke her father's heart. The leader of the Broken Hearts Club is out to the ring next. Well, he sure doesn't look too sad. Maybe she only caught him on the right nut? Santino says this is the best night of his life. He admits they are under a lot of pressure tonight, and they won't soil their nappies, they will knock it out the park. He turns his attention to his daughter, who kicked him in the right nutsack. Apparently, he isn't good enough to run this show on his own, so he's been allowed to get some backup to replace her with. Out walks Daria Ray. Never heard of her, but I recognise that beak. Oh yeah, it's another ex-WWE person. She was Sonya Deville. I'm pretty sure she's a decent promo, so she could be an okay acquisition. Don't know if she wrestles anymore though. She says Santino Marella has been one of the most important people on the show over the years, and he's managed to keep a smile on everybody's face despite all the hardships in TNA. She then says this company doesn't need Santino Marella, she has turned heel. Well, that was a poor signing, Santino. She keeps screaming about how great she is at her job. She is Daria Ray, and she makes TNA spray. Then she comes back and says she has signed a new TNA knockout. Whoa, Cora Jade is back? I honestly had no idea this would happen when I made that video recently.
Охуенно.
Well, it's certainly an interesting signing. I don't think her heart is in wrestling. Has her OF failed? Why is she back? Or is TNA a promotion for that? She just awkwardly sways like a tree on the ramp in the breeze. Listen, she isn't bad, but she isn't good either. I watched her entire NXT run recently. As a character, she can do stuff for TNA, but
I
push her
watched
like a
her
devastating
entire
wrestler and the
OnlyFans
Knockouts division
page.
is in trouble. Plus, she isn't the most reliable person. This is gonna be interesting. And on that note, it's time for a quick word from our sponsors. Who's that wrestler? In the back, Mike Santana meets with AJ Styles. AJ says he's known Frankie 20 years, but he hopes Santana kicks his ass tonight. What a depressing looking backstage area. Santana just says thanks, dude. Now we have a Knockouts tag title match. The challengers are the Elegance brand. They have Perez Hilton with them. I have no idea who he is, but apparently he's a very hated man. He's some sort of social media sensation. He heals on the crowd along with the Elegance manager. I like how they've given the tall chick a makeover since I last saw her. She's now been toasted in a tanning bed like Final Destination. They are here to introduce their new character, Mr. Elegance. It's some young chiseled kiddie off the indies. To be fair, he seems like a good fit. The Elegance girls have AMC on their asses. The new guy, Mr. Elegance, keeps laughing and says he was chosen. Man, Carson Drake would have been perfect for this role. He shows the screen and says that the Elegance brand helped make him into the person he is today. People in the crowd chant boring. The Inspiration, the tag team champions, have heard enough. Somebody's going to ask, but this is the first proper match of the night, starting at 41 minutes into the show. The Inspiration quickly clear the full ring. The Elegance team somehow get back on top in the ring, and the tall one hits a big kick in the corner. Jessie sweeps her long gazelle-like legs out and tags out. Cassie destroys the Elegance brand on her own. Heather Elegance dragon screws her out the corner though, and then she puts on a rolling leg lock. So many wacky characters on this show tonight. Perez Hilton is recording this incredible match on his phone. In the back, Sol Ruka is looking at this match. She is considering joining the Elegance brand. Well, she sure has the haircut for it. We're told that on NXT this week, the next TNA Knockouts tag team contenders will be decided. I don't think any of the options are even TNA girls. Yeah, this show feels very much WWE-ish. Led by Elegance tries to Jessie McKay has the hot tag. She gets a 2 count off a suplex because the manager of the Elegance squad is being a dick. Jessie McKay puffs her face up.
Этого достаточно.
Back in the ring, and the Elegance team are cheating and double teaming, but the Inspiration are still too strong. Cassie hits a crazy twisting move, and they also double front suplex the Elegance girl too. They can't win though because Mr. Elegance is on the ring apron. The Inspiration take him out. The Inspiration are still winning with their crazy offense. They beat up the Elegance manager once again, but they can't hit the Idolizer though, as behind the ref's back, Mr. Elegance cheats and the Elegance brand win the tag titles. They feel very much like the Beautiful People, wouldn't you say? They've even got their own cute kip now. As usual, President Cuckold is in the ring. He always has to be on the camera shot for a title change. The Inspiration are now gone from TNA forever. Santino's daughter and her boyfriend have the international title. She doesn't have any sorrow about turning heel on her dad. She says her boyfriend will be fighting on pay-per-view for this belt against whoever her dad decides. Wow, what an incredible storyline that is. Yet another open challenge type deal on TNA. Positivity, Hawk, positivity.
Бля, я придумал, короче, для того, чтобы TNA было больше похоже на WWE, им надо назваться TKA. Знаешь, как TKO, TKA, Total Cook Action. А? Нормально? Нормально хуйня придумал?
Нормально.
Not the time for this. An injury report says Steve Macklin won't be here tonight. Mike Santana is also injured, but he's cleared to wrestle. Considering that TNA has barely been on air in the last few months, how are so many people injured?
Он
After a very
травмирован,
long
но
time,
при
the Elegance
этом
brand are in
может
the back
растить.
celebrating their second tag
Охуенно.
title win.
Не
They
важно.
make fun of the Australian Alsatian. She
Okay.
is looking for a fight tonight. We now get a Knockouts highlights package. For some reason, TNA is allergic to showing footage of the original Trinity. Actually, how about Sarita, Hamada and Daphne too? Those girls did some pretty great stuff. They all get slept on. Santino is in the back and he brings out the TNA Knockouts champion, Lei Ying Lee. She still has that hilarious dramatic fighting music. She looks a bit happier than the usual though.
Бля, я думаю, вот этой вот менеджерке Джулии надо в TNA идти. Бля, в TNA все женщины на порнушниц похожи, вообще все.
Бля.
Вот
Да.
ей надо туда, там место для
В
нее.
натуре.
To be fair.
В
She
натуре.
brings her best friend Zaya Brookside with her. They are the Angel Warriors. Santino admits that Danny Luna cannot challenge for the Knockouts title on pay-per-view. You have got to be kidding me. They're finally pushing her and giving her a storyline, and now she's going to miss her title shot. Oh, let me guess. It's going to be another random NXT jobber instead going to have a title shot. Santino announces there will be an open challenge. Can't do this. Everything is an open challenge on this show. Open this, open that. Have this, have that. Positivity.
Хули, новое
positivity.
начало.
Maybe it's not their fault. They've only been off air for 3 months leading up to this. They didn't have the time to prepare for this pay-per-view, damn it. Quit it, quit it. Some music hits. It's some random girl I've never seen before who looks like Masha Slamovich and Sol Ruka.
Ага.
I guess they are the open challenge. My fingers are getting injured from typing all of these rants. Ruka has the mic and she says they were originally going to challenge for the tag titles, but instead some singles gold sounded attractive to her. She calls Lei Ying Lee a warrior. Ruka the Veruca says her friend should challenge for the title instead.
Рука.
Everybody smiles, and that is your Knockouts title
Yeah.
match from Genesis. 0 buys. Your ass is 0 buys, Hawk. Stop being negative, this is great. Now it's a hype package about the TNA World title. Mike Santana stomps around looking pissed off. I would be too. Kaz is getting lost in corridors too. Santino meets with Chris Bay. He tells him he's not getting an X Division title shot because there's an issue. Due to international problems, Leon Slater will not be here tonight or at the pay-per-view.
Да-да.
So no X Division title match on the pay-per-view. I
Да-да.
can't breathe. I can't cope. This show. I do feel like there's a bit of glossing over when it comes to these visa issues. It's not like this show should have come as a surprise for TNA. How did they not have everyone's visas ready for their biggest show in ages?
Да
If it
дело не в
truly was
визах, бро.
visa issues,
Дело
then that's
кое-что в
pretty
другом.
disorganized by TNA. When this sort of thing happened in the past, everyone laughed at them. What, so now they get a free pass? They've had forever to get this show in order. I can't cope. The show's brilliant. I didn't want to see the boy from Bradford anyway. I was joking when I said he was the man with all the potential to be a star in TNA, and so was AJ Styles. So instead, there will be a random triple threat. Moose and Joe Hendry will also be in this match. They listen to Joe Hendry's theme song on Chris Bay's phone. Despite saying his name, Joe Hendry doesn't appear. Not sure why not. We run down
А
the
потому
card
что
from
все,
Genesis.
TNA
I'm
нахуй
so
идет.
confused. Why are any of these matches happening?
Не
I haven't
работает.
seen any hype for them on this TV show. Don't lie, you saw the Knockouts title match set up earlier on, and this is an incredible triple threat match with nothing on the line. Stop being negative or I'll smack you one. This show is terrific. I need to go out for a breather. Who's that wrestler? Yeah, it was Diamond Dallas Page. If you got that one wrong, no
А,
need
это
to
надо
rage.
было угадывать эту хуйню?
The System
Я
faction
не
still
понял.
exists. Apparently, JDC is having his retirement match against Eddie Slapnut Edwards at the Genesis pay-per-view. Imagine your final match being against this Slapnut. JDC says this isn't the end of the System, and instead they will be introducing a new wrestler into the group. How about doing it tonight instead of next week? JDC points at Miss Pierce and said Eddie raised an incredible daughter. Thought she was his wife. She came from the Slapnuts of Eddie. Does anyone actually care to see JDC having a retirement match? It's not like he's some incredible TNA wrestler who's made history within this company. Stop being negative, Hawk, or I'll smack you one. Okay, so into the world title scene we go. Of course, Kaz captured the title from Mike Santana after he only just won the world title. This upset a lot of people. The title change felt random and destroyed the credibility of Mike Santana's story. President Cuckold gets a big entrance. Why do we have to give this man more mic time? He isn't a character, he looks like a predator. Well, he is actually here to randomly introduce Dixie Carter.
Yeah.
She gets booed by the fans. Wow, we're talking about history here, and we actually wouldn't be here without her and her daddy's money. NXT fans do not respect Dixie Carter. Maybe it was that time she begged Hogan on her knees. Nobody wants to relieve that, Hawk. Anyway, she thanks all the fans whilst the president refuses to let go of her hand. This is a real passing of the torch moment. Who can be a worse president? It felt like somebody was missing here though. Instead, Bubba Ray Dudley interrupts her speech. He of course powerbombed her through a table, I believe in one of her final TNA appearances. TNA do actually acknowledge this history. They hug it out, which was nice. And just like that, she's gone and never seen again. And Bully Ray wades down the ramp. He is here to do main event commentary. Cool to see him. He seems to keep popping up every now and again in the TNA show. Mike Santana gets his big entrance starting out in the back of the building. The champion is Frankie, the future Kazarian. We still have half an hour of the show left, so I'm guessing some crazy shit is about to go down. As Kaz enters, Bully Ray tells us that Frankie is a nice guy who finally figured out he has to be a dick to be a successful wrestler. Surprisingly, quite a few fans are cheering for Frankie. My prediction is that Santana wins this match, but somehow AJ Styles is involved with the finish, which causes Kaz and AJ to have a future match. Kaz gets the mic and says these fans are used to being disappointed. Yeah, TNA fans are really used to being disappointed.
Есть такой.
I think he did this because he noticed the fans aren't fully behind Santana here. This promo seems to help him. Kaz is not in a hurry to start this match. You get the feeling a lot of stuff has changed on the fly for this show. Finally it starts. Kaz celebrates his first move with happiness. Kaz suddenly changes his mind and starts dumping in his nappy of fear and hiding on the outside again. Santana then starts winning and he catches Kaz with a nice Hurricanrana which sends him from the ring. Santana doesn't let him hide this time and he hits a dive. Mike Santana misses a follow-up dive off the steps and his momentum carries him into an overhead belly-to-belly on the outside. Santana's fine though and he hits a crossbody to Kaz on the outside. Both guys are down. The crowd frantically squirt in their TNA nappies. Kaz takes back over in the ring with a neckbreaker across the ropes and a springboard leg drop for a 2 count. The match slows down as Kaz does some heel work. Santana finally wakes up and tries a rolling cutter, but instead he rolls into a backstabber and Kaz gets a 2 count. Kaz starts slapping Santana, which has the opposite effect of what Kaz wanted. Santana has hawked up. Santana finally lands a kick in the corner. The kicks keep on coming. There's a rolling stunner for a 2 count now. On the ropes now and Santana hits Kaz with a Spanish fly. They both no-sell the effects of that and they keep reversing each other until Santana hits a code red for a 2 count. This causes a strange shout out on commentary. You know, there's something seriously wrong with these guys. They have zero personality and I can't tell them apart. Are they brothers? Yes, I'm not talking about Kaz and Santana. I'm of course talking about the SATs getting a random shout out on commentary. Random old school Hawk monologue right there. Santana tries a cannonball in the corner now, which Kaz blocks and he hits the Angel's wings for a 2 count. Bully Ray says Christopher Daniels is smiling somewhere. It doesn't get the job done. Santana fights off a chicken wing now, which almost leads to a 3 count. Kaz gets Santana stuck on the apron and then he flings him into the ring into a cutter and a diving leg drop. That's a 2 count. Kaz is starting to get desperate and he grabs the title belt. The ref grabs it from him. Nothing happens. Instead we get a slap off. Santana starts arguing with the referee now. Kaz tries to kick him, but instead he hits the referee.
Ну, взял просто подержать.
Mike Santana hits spin the block, but there's no ref. Kaz grabs the title belt again and bashes it into Santana's face. We head to the apron now, where Kaz hits a fade to black on the ring apron. Somehow, Mike Santana eventually kicks out of that pin. Bully Ray says, wow. Santana just no-sells everything as Kaz hits a Canadian Destroyer, and then straight away Santana does spin the block. Kaz kicks out. Then, whatever this was supposed to be, something was botched in there as Santana tries another one.
Oi.
Kaz misses one, and Santana hits another, and that's the 3. Shame about the finish of this match, but at least Mike Santana is the champion once again, and the rest of the match was good. President Cuckold awards
Просто
him with the
нахуя
belt,
снимали свой титул, в принципе.
and nothing happens. Well, I made it through the show. What do you want me to say? You have eyes, don't you?
Да.
Да.
Ну, слушайте, когда после просмотра какого-нибудь очередного Смакдауна или Ро, блядь, или какой-нибудь неудачной ППВшки в ВВЕ, вы такие, бля, ну я терпила, конечно, нахуй это говно смотрю до сих пор. Вспоминайте, что кто-то, бля, на еженедельной основе TNA смотрит. И все в вашей жизни будет хорошо.
Да.
Да, печально. Это, конечно, все Печально.